With immigration enforcement actions making headlines again, it is important for both employers and immigrant communities to know their rights, whether it's a workplace audit or an unexpected ICE raid. Understanding the law can make all the difference. And on today's Ask the Expert, immigration attorney Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch joins us in the KRLD Zoom room. She's here to break down what employers should be aware of and what immigrants need to know on how to protect themselves and their families. Kate, can you start by explaining what an ICE raid typically looks like and what do agents usually target as far as how do they approach these situations?
There's no real legal definition of what a raid is, but I think of a raid as an indiscriminate arrest scenario where ICE is not going after a specific individual. It's not a targeted event. So that maybe they're going to a big work site or arresting people in the parking lot of the supermarket. These are the things that tend to be raids. But we do have a lot of targeted actions going on right now, and that is going to look for specific people at a work site or going after a particular employer. There's heightened enforcement, and so people think of this as raids and, whatever you call it. The reality is immigrants are being swept up in detentions in all sorts of places, in their homes, driving out on the streets, out in public, in work sites, going to their immigration appointments and interviews as well. And that is definitely on the rise.
I know in the latest events that happened, all this seemed to have started with a raid at Home Depot, of all places.
Sure. That was sort of the kickoff of the protests that happened in LA, which of course we're watching, and, National Guard, Marines are being called in, and all of that is going on. And, the reaction in LA is about the raids, but the tipping point was Home Depot. Really, we're going to go and get people who are just looking for work at Home Depot. And I think what everybody's really starting to grapple with is the fact that it's clear now that the administration is not just going after people with criminal records and violent criminals and all of that. They are going after immigrants, and immigrant equals criminal in the eyes of the Trump administration. And a lot of us know immigrants, work with immigrants, know that they are good people, and it's starting to become we're starting to see a public outcry, as we've seen in LA, but all over, about the types of people that are being picked up and the fact that they are law-abiding folks who are doing the best that they can.
ICE showing up to a place of work, what are employers allowed to ask ICE agents? Can they ask for a warrant, or is there any warning?
You can kind of think of a workplace arrest almost like you would a home. Most people know that we have the right against search and seizure. It's the Fourth Amendment to the Constitution, and that law enforcement can't enter into someone's home without a judicial warrant signed by a judge to enter into that home, and you don't have to open the door for them unless they have that warrant. That also applies in places of business, but the difference with a business is that there are public and private places in a business. And the public part of the business is open to law enforcement just as it is to the public. So one of the key things that employers can do is make a clear distinction between the public and the private area and actually label what is beyond the lobby, or understand that in a restaurant that maybe the dining area is public, but the kitchen is private, and make it clear, put a label on that door, and then also have a clear procedure. Know who's in charge, who is the point person if law enforcement shows up, and every employee knows they are not to give information about who's there that day or where they are. They are to direct law enforcement to the point person who knows how to review a warrant, get in touch with the lawyer, and interact with law enforcement. And all of this is clearly written and disseminated in a policy and a procedure that the whole company understands.
That is immigration attorney Kate Lincoln-Goldfinch.